organiser.
Oh, okay. So maybe they do then. But we don't have to have them written down. They can just, the nominations can come from the floor.
Right, so that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. And it's fruit.
Unmuted.
Unmuted now.
Alright, no one talk about Friday now then. You can hear us.
Oh, that's Google. That's Google. If you don't know now, you know.
Now you know.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Just in case you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, kids always come out, right?
Like a week
So you're doing it the same day too.
Okay. By the way, the week, they can now hear us.
Oh, we won't talk about them now then. Morning.
So everyone goes silent.
We have something to sign, do we?
Oh,
Just to sign in. Yeah.
I'll just get my own pen.
Okay. Come on. So on you want.
Yeah, yeah, from lunch away from my one.
oh my God, the whole weekend.
Yes, you're right, school is a year now. But anyway. Yeah, I do like going.
Yeah, I know there's still people coming.
Yeah,
Yes, what are you doing, Karen?
he's improving.
Okay.
Yeah. Not such high tips now, but, yeah. No, the oldest one. The youngest one's had it twice.
Yeah,
And now the oldest one's got it.
so does he just have to stay for 7 days?
Yeah.
What do we want to do?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They've got it now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's out there, isn't it?
The previous-
I think we do, yeah. And send it. Okay. Well, we basically all do this.
Yeah. Yeah, the old cousin will do that. We don't need to do that.
No. So we're gonna stay there, so that's wild.
Okay, so, yeah.
We've got the detail. Yeah.
Is he? And I'm on board.
Yeah, that's right, chocolate cream.
Yeah. As long as I don't get the monkey virus.
I don't want that.
Monkey pox.
They look awful, don't they?
Yeah. I don't think you're business. Yeah. It's a little,
Good morning.
morning, Irene. No, I'm the same.
This is the usual issue that you have.
Glasses and that. Bending over, putting those groceries in the bin.
Yes, of course, of course.
Long time since I've been standing up.
Thanks, Dana.
It's just been streamed live, Dana, so that's awesome. It's just been streamed live.
Oh. Glad I got my mask on there.
You should warn us.
They can't see us.
They can't see us.
No, it's pointed there.
They can't see us.
But it's a very good microphone, so it can capture everything.
Hello. Here, we saw another room. You're fogging up. Glasses.
It's okay, it's up to you if you want to wear it. It's your choice.
Into the same at the movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, sorry. I've been on the jury. And they were paid enough. It's a little bit more than I-
Thanks, Dave. They don't give it off, you know, but really. Up to you, Jen. No, it's up to you, Shirley. What's all up to you?
Yeah.
Let's point it
Let's
at
point it that way.
Thank you.
That's okay.
And how are you getting on? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? Yeah, not bad. Getting through it. Getting us through it. Well, the winter hasn't started. Yeah, the winter. Morning. Yeah. Pardon? No. I don't That's the day, you can't say that. That's the days off. You will? Yeah. But, it doesn't look like there's a trustee around. We don't, it's bad at your, I was supposed to carry you when I did. Oh, yeah, terrible versus mine. You don't know, it's the same thing. But, look at the day.
Gary's gonna have it all.
No one here wants the front row.
I don't have anything to say, I'm just here to. Listen, I even put gloves on. You want to see me? Done well, because I was finishing what I was going to do, and I didn't really want. No one comes to everyone. And I don't feel it. Oh, okay. Well, that's where the girls like to be.
Let's go to like that.
Yeah, good idea. Sun's not going to. No, I don't. No, but we'll walk in their face.
They're getting new ones. Like pop beer and so on, God knows what else. So, you guys can also call you for the 3 years. But they really,
I hate it, like, last year, I was putting some groceries in the bin up here. I didn't go over there, the glasses were all-
I was in the supermarket, so I got those off, I had the glasses on. And you go to the shelf, see, oh, I really, it's just a blur. It's all fogged up, you like to see who's looking at it.
Yeah, I don't even get a bed. leadership.
No.
I left up the board. I
Very secret little finger under the mask and then
I looked on the bottom and let my friend in.
yeah. I was just gonna say, sometimes you can find those percents like that and just wet.
Yeah.
And so you can get a bit of moisture from there somewhere.
Yeah, well, I just spent the old body. And all the kiwi fruit. I've got some of the brown And I have this. I need a place. That's all. Right in the knife in that way, down on the main skin that way. And then trying to get the spoon off it, but yeah. And sometimes I feel it, I slice it,
Right, folks, we'll get started. It's 10:30. So, welcome everyone to the 135th AGM for the Green Island Bowling Club, and also welcome to everyone live streaming at home. Hopefully, it's all working well for you. We haven't had any texts or phone calls, so hopefully you're all good out there. So, we're down here this year just to do a bit more socially distanced and spread out a wee bit, and also makes the computer a wee bit closer to the modem, so that way the internet connection is going to be a wee bit better for the live stream. So as you know, Bridie and Lynn Rance have both got COVID at the moment, so as the president and vice president, they can't be here, so I'll be chairing part of the meeting, and then once we've elected all the officers, the incoming president will take over and I'll go back to being secretary. So for the first half of the meeting, Lynn has offered to do the secretary role for us. So I just ask that because we're live streaming, if we can try and keep background noise to a minimum, because that microphone will pick up every noise. If we can just have one person speaking at once, and if you wouldn't mind just turning all your cell phones on silent or off, please. So we've got a lot to get through today, so we'll try and get things through quite swiftly, and that way we can hopefully get away at a decent hour. So before we actually start the meeting, if we can all please stand just for a minute's silence for all those that we've lost over the last year. Right, so we'll start with the apologies.
Rosalie, that's all gone.
Davey Underwood.
Okay, the list of apologies we've received are Graham Pride, Gay Watkins, Mary Vincent, Evan Vincent, Nari Morton, Stephen Charles, Logan Charles, Braden Bunting, Claire Steedman, Richard Steedman, Joanne Bunting, Tina Woods, Alan Bates, John Clark, Leslie Devenett, Rosalie Littlejohn, and Dave Underwood.
So I'll move the apologies, please. Okay. And second. Carried.
Who seconded?
Shannon. Right, so the minutes of the previous AGM have been distributed. So can I please have someone move and second that they have been taken as read?
I'll move that.
Dave. Second, Karen. Thank you. Carried. Have any correspondence?
The correspondence are just the emails that have gone out pertaining to the AGM and a link to live stream to the people who wanted to live stream of how to do it.
Please have someone move correspondence. Okay, second. Paul. Thank you, carried. Now, is there any business pertaining to the last year's minutes? No one have anything? Okay, so we'll move on to the financial report, please. Oh, sorry, the annual reports have been distributed and taken as read. Someone move that, please.
I'll do it.
Read. Second. Nancy. Thank you, carried. Financial report. Anyone have any questions for Greg in regards to the finances?
I'd just like to make a comment. I'd like to thank the committee members who got involved, well, we've got things organised and organised some fundraising events and what have you. It's made a big, huge difference to our result, as you can see. We've actually, if you didn't take into account the depreciation, would actually be making a profit. So huge thank you for those people and the participants in the fundraising. Thank you very much.
Nobody have any questions in regards to finances? Oh, okay. So can we have someone please move the finances? Greg, thank you. Second. Dave, thank you. And subscriptions, Greg.
We have been advised by Bowls New Zealand that they normally increase the affiliation fees by the Consumer Price Index each year. You'll be aware that the Consumer Price Index for the last financial year was about 6.6%, 6.9%. They're not going to increase the fees by that amount because it's quite a jump, but they are going to increase them by about 4.6%. That would then lead on, I'm assuming that Bowls Dunedin will probably be increasing theirs as well, their affiliation fees. And because it's an inflation thing, everything is going to be going up, or everything has gone up. So normally we have a standing sort of thing that each year our subs increase by $5 a year, but because of the rate of inflation, the increased costs that we're going to have with affiliation fees, my recommendation is that we increase it by $10 this year to $190, reducible to $180, paid by the end of October. But it's open for discussion. So the discussion, I'll move that subs be increased to $190 a year, reducible to $180 if paid by the end of October.
Okay. Can I have a second for that, please? Okay, thank you. Carried. We're going to get through this meeting quite quickly. Right, so election of officers. So to speed things up a little bit, because we've got quite a few of these to get through, what we thought we'd do is ask now, is there anyone that wants to nominate for any of the positions now? So that way we can just sort of work our way through them a bit quicker. Also, feel free to interrupt as we're going along if you do want to nominate someone or volunteer at any point. Is there anyone at the moment that wants to volunteer for any role at this stage that hasn't already put their name forward? No? Okay. All right, so we'll start with the president position. So Sarah Ibbotson has been nominated. She's been moved by Graham Pride, and second was Mary Vincent. Congratulations. Well done. Vice President nominated is Lynn Rance. That was moved by Graham Pride and second by Alan Bates. So congratulations, Lynn. Secretary is myself, nominated or moved by Lynn Rance, second by Graham Pride.
Well done.
Delegates, so for the men, we've got Dave Hutton. He was moved by myself and second by Sarah Ibbotson. Well done, Dave. Women's delegate is Sarah Ibbotson, nominated by myself and seconded by Margaret Hode. Men's club captain is Richard Beard, nominated by myself, seconded by Sarah Ibbotson. Women's club captain is Shannon McEwen, nominated by myself, seconded by Margaret Hode. So for the men for the committee, we can have up to 2 men. So Graham Pride, because he's the outgoing president, he automatically gets appointed to be on the committee. And the second male member is going to be Evan Vincent. And he's being nominated by Graham Pride and second by Paul Seddon. So thank you, Evan, for on the committee. With the women, we have Margaret Hode, nominated by Graham Pride and seconded by Lynn Rance. And our second woman is Tina Woods, and she's been nominated by Lynn Seddon and Paul Seddon. So well done to you, those two. And thank you, Tina, for coming on the committee. Right, so we've got, going forward, we have a tournament convener, which at this stage we haven't had any nomination for. Have we got anyone that would like to volunteer for that role? Looking at you, Wale. You don't want to do it again this year?
No, definitely not.
Can we have someone else volunteer for that position? No? Okay, we'll discuss the next committee meeting. Right, selectors. So for Saturday morning, Max Gray has offered to do that role. He has also offered to do Saturday afternoon and also Wednesday afternoon. Anyone else? No? Okay, thank you very much, Max. That's much appreciated. Thank you. For the juniors, we have offered is Marilyn Irvine and Mary Vincent to take over the juniors. That's still okay, Marilyn? Thank you, and also thank you, Mary. For the women's selectors is the same as last season, Lynn Rance and Faye Cosgrove. Thank you. Oh, that's coming. So for catering, we have Lynn Beard, Mary Vincent, Tina Woods, and Shirley Mercer. They've all offered to help in the kitchen. Thank you very much. Bar manager is Greg Johnson. Greg. For the works and maintenance, we have Graham Pride and also Paul Seddon. Thank you both. Social media, we have Karen Lobb. We're still okay to do social media? Thank you. So a new one we've put together this year is a raffle convener. Is anyone interested in getting the raffles together? So that it will mean popping over to Moyles, picking up the meat packs, and also perhaps running the raffles as well. Would anyone like to take on that role? No? Okay, we'll discuss that at the next committee meeting. Grants officer, I'm happy to do that. Shannon, do you want to help out that as well? Results recorder. So we've had 2 volunteers for this. We've got Karen Law and Faye Cosgrove. Are you both still okay to take over that? Yep, thank you. Sponsorship, we've got Dave Underwood, who's going to carry on with that, and also Lynn Seddon as well. She'll help do the invoicing and paperwork. Lotto, we have Graham Pride, who's going to continue with that. We've added a new one here for new membership. So that would entail, obviously, trying to get new members into the club. Have you got any volunteers that would like to take on that role? I don't think so. So we will discuss that in the general in regards to new membership. Social committee, we have myself, Sarah Ibbotson, and Shannon McEwen. Still happy to do social committee?
I'm just aware that the 3 of us have done quite a lot. And I just wondered if someone else would like to join us as well. I think it's a role we could have 2 new people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some other people have some other really good ideas to offer. And it's it's really good to hear input. So if there was anyone else that would like to join, like add to that, that would be mine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
Anyone else want to help us with the social? Okay,
Yep.
thank you. And look, if anyone else has any ideas for a social event, I mean, come to us. You know,
Definitely.
it doesn't always have to be the social committee to run things, so anyone can help.
Thanks, Dave.
Green supervisor, obviously we've got Dave Hutton. Ladies tournament, we've got Gaynor Todd that's offered to do that this year. You still happy to do that, Gaynor? Thank you.
Gaynor.
Coaches, we have Marilyn Irvine. Obviously we lost Jan Hall this year. So we was wondering if anyone would be interested in becoming an assistant coach to help Marilyn out, especially on a Monday night, and perhaps use it as a pathway to go to the coaching course. Is anyone interested in perhaps that, helping Marilyn out with the coaching? Okay, we might shoulder tap some people. Umpires, we've got Lynn Rance and myself. Reviewer, we have Ellen Stevens. Ellen, thank you for reviewing the books this year. Would you be happy doing it again next year? Thank you. And our solicitor is the same, Ferry and Associates. So that is all the elections of officers. So that went nice.
Who's doing the ties?
Sorry. Oh, sorry, the ties, of course. So the ties committee, is the name is Richard Beard, who's volunteered to do that. And the woman is Marilyn Irvine and Rosalie Littlejohn. Have both volunteered for that. Still good for that, Marilyn, with Rosalie? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so I think that is all the elections of the officers. That were nice and quick. So now that that's done, I will hand over the reins to the incoming president, and I will take over secretary. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks.
Well, that's not intimidating, was it? So bear with me, please. Thank you very much for the nomination and also the acceptance of the nomination. So, right, next order of business is entries of teams for Interclub. So Lee's got the information in regards to that, so I'll hand it to Lee to get through that.
So about a month ago, the women had a luncheon here, and we talked about the teams going forward for next season. So what we sort of decided on was for Tuesday Interclub that we would have 4 teams. For the Friday Fives, we would have 2 teams. Stewart Trophy, 1 team. Bislop Cup, we would enter 2 teams this year. Last season, we only had 1. And we would stick with 1 team for the mixed triples and 1 team for the 2P5. Are the women sort of happy with those numbers of teams? Still want to stick with that? Yeah, okay. Now, I spoke with Max on Friday in regards to the men's teams. So his recommendation, which will be brought up for discussion as well, is on Saturday morning, he recommends having 1 team. The Holmes Feathers, he recommends 1 team. The Spates, he recommends pulling out of the Spates because there isn't enough players to do both Holmes Feathers and Spates. And perhaps enter a team in the 2x4s if that's still running this year. If it's not, perhaps we enter in an extra team for the 2P5 and an extra team in the mixed triples. What's the bloke's thoughts on that recommendation?
Yeah, I agree with that. Based on last year.
Yeah.
Either the 2x4s or into a triple.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, I was struggling for at least a pair in section 3.
Mhm.
That that every Saturday. Now Cyril's gone,
Yeah.
possibly myself. It's good to see that there's a team wiped out. So as I said to Mac, I would look at 51 team and then 61 and 2 befores and problem.
Any other feedback? No. Excellent. Okay. Again, that's what it is based on the numbers at the moment. So that's what we can base it on. So we don't want to, again, like last year, it was based on the numbers at the time. Unfortunately, it put us in a unfortunate situation. But we need to be aware that we don't do it again. So thank you, Max and Gary, for talking that through. Okay.
What
so,
about the Wednesday meeting?
Well, Wednesday, me and he's 4 teams for the Wednesday.
Yeah. Drop down one thing.
Yep.
So go down to 4.
I did hear early on in the winter that there was talk of making Wednesday mixed instead of just men.
Yeah, they've decided
don't know
against
if
that.
Come about
Yeah, no, they're going to keep it.
So it came up at the delegates meeting that they were quite, I got into a bit of trouble last year with, I had a lady playing for me in a position she wasn't supposed to be playing in. And I got into a heated argument with one of the umpires, but apparently that's been wiped, so we are allowed to have a lady playing in any position at all, so,
Yeah, that was another thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we get short on a Wednesday or whatever, we're allowed to put a lady in, say a skip or a third. So that's been sorted out at the delegates meeting.
Yep.
So that's,
that latest Tuesday?
well, yeah,
I don't think you were the other way around, were you?
No.
yeah,
Ladies, you couldn't, and men had to stay.
I'll have to go back to the
Yeah.
minutes from the delegates meeting.
Yeah.
That's where it was discussed. But again,
I
at the
think
delegates meeting is only just discussion until they come out with the rules.
we only discussed one
From
issue.
yeah, it's only feedback from club. Whether they take that on board or not is another reason. But at that point, they were the discussion was around it was okay to bring in ladies into that position, and people were okay. But until it comes out with the rules for the season, we won't know what the exact rules are. And that'll be on the Bowls Dunedin website for the rules of the game, the conditions of play. Okay, any other comments in regards to entries of teams? Not, we'll move on to general. Okay. Right, I'll open the floor to everyone. To start with, if there's any matters to discuss in the general that anyone would like to raise. Please, Nancy.
I would like to ask why, when a person died, I've been to 2 funerals from the club members lately, and there's no one from the club who has got up and spoke on behalf of that person being in the club. I felt other people got up and spoke, and even if the president can't do it, surely someone else could be nominated to say a few words on behalf of the club.
Yeah, I
agree, sometimes you have to be asked.
Yeah,
You can't just get up and speak. I don't think that every undertaker would want numerous people getting up and asked. Sometimes it's the family's request.
But
Also.
mostly you'll find that the minister or the celibate will ask if anybody wants to
Well,
say.
that's a different situation.
And Morris Stewart was an ex-president and
Yes,
a long member of the club. I thought it was shocking.
I agree in the sense of that if a club member does pass away, that there should be a representation from the club, and that it should be in line with the wishes of the family, and whether someone should speak, and if as president, I can't make that, then there should be a nomination of someone to. So that's something, as president myself, I'll be making sure occurs going forward within me undertaking the role. Any other matters? General from the floor?
Have you had any indication from Fulton Hogan when they're able to open the front gate or anything?
So we've opened it for today. You can actually access it, but based on the information that we were provided at the time, it was indicated that it would be August, that those works would be completed, and then they would move on to the roundabout, which I believe is starting October for those works. So whether we are going to be affected for the roundabout works, we don't know yet, but it will be August, and again, that'll be based on if they are in line with their schedule. And we all know how that goes usually. But that was the indication based on the information we were provided at the time.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to move on to is Lee indicated during the when we're talking about positions about new membership. Just wanted to ask, how many members have we currently got?
So currently, as of today, we have 49 full paying members. We've got 4 social and 2 school children.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is we coming in is from a focus of what I'd like to possibly look at is new membership and maybe having a campaign focused around how we can get some new members in to help build the club and see make it stronger going forward and what we can do. So we did look at having this new membership role, but membership, of course, is a whole club. It shouldn't just be on one person's shoulders. So I'd like to look at a campaign of, yes, new membership, but also that everyone considers it when, it's not about stealing members. I don't want to be like that, but it's about, what can we do to encourage people to come here. So you would have seen emails that came out in regards to dual membership that explained that we were going to be offering that going forward. So we're going to do a campaign offering dual membership, and that was going to be $30 for a dual member. And just wanted to assure people that from a dual membership point of view, that it is about, the current members for the selection point of view. You get the selection, they get considered first. So if you do know of anyone or you want to be playing with anyone, in a centre event, or if you know of someone who's said, oh, it'd be great to play with you, but of course you can't, do consider offering and saying, look, we have dual membership. So please consider that. So we will be putting that out onto Facebook and any other way that we can actually advertise that. So just wanted to discuss that here, let people know before you see that going out, so there's no surprises there.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you?
Sure.
The email that I sent out last Sunday in regards to the dual membership, is there any feedback or comments? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Did you want anything changed?
Yeah.
Or are you happy for it to go out as is?
Yes,
I
sir.
have one question.
Sure.
Anyway, how did you arrive at the $30 when you're considering the social members have got to pay $40?
So the committee discussed the $30 and we wanted it cheap so people would come. And then hopefully they love it here so much, the year after they'll become a full member. So it was a way of enticing people here to try us, and then hopefully they'll stay. So we wanted to make it as cheap as we can. So that way, $30, that's not much. I'll pay that and see what it's like. So that's why we came up to the figure of 30, just to get people in the door.
and some more questions with regards to that. Will they have the right to vote at any meetings and the right to hold officership?
No, not at all. It's only full paying members hold that right. So it's literally, the only thing they can do is they can play interclub for us. Obviously, our full paying members get priority. They can play in a club tie. But let's say they play singles and pairs for Green Island, they can't then play those two ties for their other club. So they have to pick and choose which club they want to play certain ties at. And the same for centre events as well. They may decide they want to join a couple of us in a triple, so they can't then do it for their own club.
Just a matter of procedure, if the club does decide that, that will mean a change to the rules. So that will require 30 days notice in a meeting to approve that. That's how I feel by reading the rules.
So within the constitution, it's equivalent to associated membership. That's what it's known as, and it may just be a wording thing, but we can have a look at that from a procedure point of view. And yeah, so it's worded as associated membership, and that's how Bowles Dunedin also word it, but it's just as a terminology point of view, people know it as dual membership, and that's more understood. But the legal term and procedural term is actually associated membership, and that's how it's listed in our constitution. Yes, Karen.
If someone comes and they play in our ties and they say they won forward, their name goes up on the board.
As a dual member, yes.
Yeah. Right, and so they have to buy a uniform then to go and play the team.
Correct. Right. Yeah, if they're representing the club, as a member, they have to wear the uniform.
Right.
It was just a way of getting some more members. Oh, sorry, Jan.
Yes,
Sure.
My experiences of dual membership, going back over the years, what generally happens is, I'll use an example. Kevin Darling was playing for Leith, and he wanted to play with Steve Field. He was Waikari, and they wanted to go to the Nationals. And all that. So Steve goes down to dual membership, plays with Kevin. Now, what I'm trying to point out here is there's no way you're going to get a new member out of it. They're only going for their own good and chasing centre titles. And I don't really think you'll get the suburban or social bowler or just competitive bowler like yourself, Gary or whoever, changing clubs just for the hell of it and possibly joining another club. They stay loyal to the club that they belong to. That's my only, but I really applaud you for working and coming up with these ideas for new memberships. I really do. I applaud you. I don't want to knock you at all. But that's just my experience of dual membership in the past.
Okay. Thank you for your feedback. Sure. In regards to that, just responding to that, I wonder, do we try it for a year? Let's see what sort of response we get, and if it doesn't work, we don't get any sort of people signing up. We need to try something.
I think we should try.
Yeah.
Can we have a review date, like next AGM?
Yeah.
And put it out, when we word it, we put for the 2022-2023 season, we are offering
Sure.
this. So then
We contain it.
we contain it to this season,
Certainly.
and then we can expand, but we can't take that, we put something out there and then go, oh, we want to pull it back now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just in a wording on that.
Yep.
Well, we had this a few years ago in the women's, they'll remember it, or children will remember it, when Dawn Rowley and Gaynor Reid and Doreen Bell all left and all came to Green Island so that they could go, because they're all top bowlers. Dawn Rowley was a New Zealand rep. So they came out here, won all the ties and everything else, stayed here for 2 or 3 years and then buggered off. And a lot of the players said, what's the use of going on the ties? You know, playing all this, they wouldn't mix with us. You know, they stuck together and didn't they, Charlie? And I thought it caused a wee bit of disharmony amongst the women.
Right.
So, you know, you've got to be sort of careful that they don't do that. They didn't mix with anybody, they really didn't put anything into the club whatsoever. All they were here was to win all the ties.
And was that under dual or just they changed completely?
No, they changed.
Right, so they could do that at any time.
Yeah, and then they moved on, didn't
Yeah.
they?
There has been situations, like for myself a couple of seasons back, where I've been available for an open fours team, but I hadn't been able to play because I didn't have a playing partner. And then I turned up to watch, and there was also Tanya Whitley, so from Outram, who didn't have a player partner. And there was actually 4 people sitting there watching that could have formed a team, all wanted to play, but couldn't because we didn't. And if you look at the members, the numbers of teams entering the open events, I think there's 9 women's teams or 13 max. And somehow we want to make that larger as well, because you want to be out there competing against lots of people as well. So it's a way of getting more team entries at above the needle level, so that more teams enter.
Can I speak? Because I was here when we had that, those players coming here, and it was the most unhappiest time I experienced in this club. These people dominated all the games, then just went way off to their own clubs. They didn't come and join them after. So really, really think about it, because but I personally was secretary at the time, and I was a most unhappy person.
Yeah, well, no.
Thank you for your feedback. From what Kay was saying, they actually changed clubs. It wasn't a dual membership situation.
Clubs, I think, in those days. Anyway.
No, so it was a full change. So
My concern is that we're going to get all these stacked teams. And so you're actually going to get less members going into events. Remember when you had an open event, you could actually go and play with everybody. You could actually, you could team, and they knocked it off because you get so many stacked teams going in that you have the normal bowler not wanting to participate because they didn't have a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can also work against them.
there's pros and cons.
It's a good thing to try, but I have my,
Are there any other clubs that do it? That we're aware of? That do-
Andy Bay did it with,
Yeah.
the girl from Forty Park last year.
Right.
Mary.
Right.
Or not the Sally did it, but the ones. I don't think.
Right.
Jackie Peterson.
Jackie,
Right,
right, yeah,
yeah.
right.
Break the core from Harveston, place Cotterburn.
Yeah.
It was just a way of us trying to get some members.
Yeah,
It's worth a go, but, just.
okay, so if we,
As long as anything with the kids.
we contain it for a year, and review it, and if it's something that's affecting the club too much, that's it.
I don't think any of the existing members here at the moment have any intention of changing anything playing wise, and like for us personally, like I don't plan on going and ringing up kids and I think we have and done the play. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about maybe if there's people that are one member short for their tie or something like that, then they've got the option of asking someone.
Yeah.
Have you any indication that anybody that might want to do that dual membership?
Yeah, we have had some indications, that there have been some members approached about whether we offer that.
Okay.
And it's not about a stacking situation, it's more about, oh, it'd be great if we could play together, that'd be awesome,
But you're not going to get those members out, are you?
but we may, we don't know that. And I'm not, what else can we do? it's trying to look at all options we can. We've got the one other that I'm going to move on to talk about, which is the Twilight Bowl Cruise 5. We've seen that as well. But it's just putting an idea out there. Let's see what happens. Shannon with the idea of containing it to the year, we review it, and let's see.
Based on people's feedback.
And based on people's feedback, let's give it a crack, shall we?
I think sometimes people think, oh, I'd love to go play Green Island, but I remain loyal, just as an example.
Yep.
Figure. But I'd like to go to Green Island. And then this gives an opportunity to see the grass is in green, as I said. And then they go, oh, no, I didn't like it there. Or, oh, I loved it there, I'm going to go there next year. But and it's not even, it's not even that.
It can also, and let's look at beyond the bowls in the sense of they then get all of, they get the newsletter, they know about our social events, they then bring along another group that comes to a social event. It can feed into, more profit over the bar. It then opens us up to other people that can come along to events as well, and expanding the social side as well. So it's not just about playing the bowls.
I think somewhere along the line we could try these things, because otherwise our bowling membership is going to dwindle.
Yeah,
And it is.
That's what's trending at the moment. So
exactly.
we've got to try something.
What about the flyers that we talked about?
Yeah, so at the moment, like new members is it's going to be one of our main focuses coming on next season, which will focus closer to the season, but it's too early to do that now. So that's why we thought if we start with dual membership, we can start that now, because everyone that we're going to be advertising it to is a bowler already. So they can start thinking, over the next month or two, might try Green Island. So that's why we thought we'd start with the dual membership, because we can. It's not too early. And then down the track a bit further, we'll start advertising the membership, Twilight Bowls, flyers, and start that kind of advertising.
I think one of the side effects that we should be prepared for is the question of poaching,
Mm-hmm.
and that will go against us a little bit. So it'll have to be pretty delicately handled.
Mhm.
And how many clubs in the centre actually do this? Do we know?
So that was a question that I just raised before, and it sounds like there's about 4 or 5 clubs that offer it.
Do you know who they are?
So we've got North East Valley, Andy Bay, Wookery, Kaikoura, Brighton, Fairfield. So it is out there. So it's not an unknown factor. It's not something that we would be the first doing it and everyone going, what are they up to?
It's just the fact that the other clubs don't openly advertise it, which is what we will be doing.
Yeah.
So, probably every club will be open to a dual membership, but they just don't advertise it, which is something that we
So
want to
who's
try.
going to monitor this from the centre to make sure these people are not breaking the rules with regards to doing ties and things like that?
That's something that the clubs that they've joined will have to be aware of.
Yeah.
So they'll have their home club where they're the full member. They pay the full amount, and that's where their affiliation fees come from. And then wherever they go as a dual member, that's a question that gets asked. Unfortunately, as it comes up at the delegates meeting quite regularly, it's about the it's down to the person and them being honest. And we can only, but we all know what it's like. If someone's doing something that they shouldn't be, the discussion usually starts within the bowls community.
It's something that we will keep on top of,
Yeah.
and we will make sure that if they play ties, say pairs and triples for us, that they don't then play that for their other.
That they inform their other club,
Exactly.
when they pay their full membership, that they are paying their ties
That's
at
right.
another club.
And and we can do that. If we have a dual person that comes along as a dual member and they sign up for ties, we can say to them, we will be advising your club that you have signed up for this time, this event for us. We can have that as a policy.
I think that would be a better
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
That our secretary then contacts the
Yeah.
club that they come from.
And we can notify them. And that keeps it nice and clear, honest, and then we don't have to have that worry in the sense of
Because
influence.
people will check. The same thing happened in golf years ago with your handicap,
Yeah.
until they brought in a national system.
But as I said, people talk, as we know. So I'm sure it would come to light. It's just about what happens about it. So
Just make it an our policy that they,
exactly,
that the other club will be informed from our secretary that they are paying
let's do that.
fines.
It's been noted. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
The other thing, are we advertising our there's no fee for first year bowlers?
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna advertise that as well.
That's why they do it right.
Yeah, put it on the over team, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is where our social media, Karen, we need to maximise the technology, the new way of getting out there with social media, and it's working really well. And Karen, been great with putting the messages out there as things like we shared the Lynn Rant story, congratulations Lynn,
Yes.
on Bowls New Zealand. So it's just maximising the channels that we've got, and getting it out there. So. Excellent.
Also, this year, I'm going to make a card up with my name and number on it.
Mhm.
So, because last year we missed out on 2 members, because nobody took their name and number.
Right.
And so, if you give people who come along to the clubhouse and ask whether they can play or not, you can give them at least my name and that's the start.
Definitely. That's great. Great ideas. Awesome. Okay. So the other aspect that you said was the idea of having a Twilight Bowls 3-5 competition. So this would be run over 4 weeks, and it's just again about getting people into the club. So it would be a triples team, 1 bowler, 2 non-bowlers, and it's a bit like mates and bowls and those sorts of events that I'm sure you've heard about, and it's something that's supported by Bowls New Zealand. They have donated $500 towards the event, as well as they'll send us a goodies bag of stuff as well for prizes and everything like that. And Mornington have run the event, and it's very successful. And again, it's just about trying to get out to the non-bowlers as well, and see if we can get people in from there. So it's not just about people who are part of this club, but it's getting out to other people and other clubs as well, and anyone else that might want to come along and have an event. Wouldn't be run at the same time as Mornington. We would get it different, but from what we can see and what we put out in the email with the calculations that we've done, it should be a good event. So just wondering if there's any thoughts on that, and we would be looking for any volunteers that would like to help and be involved in that. Would be awesome. As I said, it was across 4 weeks, probably a Thursday evening. We'd have a sausage sizzle or something like that would go along throughout the night. And it's two games of an hour and a quarter. And we have prizes each night, and then an overall prize at the end of it. Any volunteers?
I'd be happy to volunteer.
Awesome, thank you, Lynn. That's wonderful.
Just a way of us getting hopefully some extra members coming through, and also
Marilyn, thank you.
and also money coming to the club as well, because it's actually very, very profitable. We get a lot of profit just from the entry fee, plus we get whatever is taken behind the bar, whatever we make with raffles, and also we do a spider as well. So each night we get quite a lot of money from it. When you take that over 4 nights, it's a lot of money for the club, plus hopefully a few extra members out of it as well.
It's about also letting the community know that we're here, because as we know, we drive past here. What a lot of people don't know that we're here. So trying to get the community involved as well. So we'll also need to arrange for someone for the bar each that night as well. So yes, Paul.
We'll volunteer to the bar.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Well, Lynn's here, so
Is there a trophy involved or something or not?
yeah, we will. We'll come up with something for the some sort of trophy.
I will volunteer to make a trophy.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll make something.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I'm happy to help out on the music and that side of things.
Oh,
I've already spoken to a few people and I'd like to play in it.
Awesome.
Of the teams.
Yep, that's fantastic. Thank you.
So is it a member from our club plus not 2 non-bowlers?
It's a member
Or
from
is
any
it a
club. It's just a
member?
bowler. It's a bowler
So-
from any club. And they would skip the team. And
I
then
must have read it wrong because I thought it said not from our club.
So
it doesn't have to be from our club. It's probably the way it should be worded.
Just getting the 2 non-members.
What time start is it here?
5:45.
5:45. Yes, Paul.
And what are you going to do about bowls?
And that's the other thing that we need to put out to members as well, is whether people would be okay about bowls being used, and if there's spare bowls available. Being that it's triples and you have a bowler in the team, there would be 2 bowls, because it's 2 bowls triples, so you only need 2 extra. So that would be one thing that we'd have to put to club members, is to whether they're happy for bowls to be used.
Or just be stickers in case they're in a different team using the same bowl.
Or something like that.
And those,
Gold stars, even those, something like that. Yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts on that? No? Cool. So those are the 2 things that we're trying to put out there and see what happens for new membership, and is open for any assistance and help, and that people are able to provide. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Obviously, we'll still do our have a go days and our open days as normal.
Yeah.
And we'll advertise those. And we're going to do flyers this year. We'll advertise in the Greater Green Island newsletter, social media. We'll try and do the best we can, but it needs to be everybody. Yeah. It can't just fall on the shoulders of a few of us. If we can have everyone involved and try and help to get these members back up.
Cool. Thanks, Ross. Right. Things that have happened around the place.
So you'll notice that we've got all the lines painted out in the back car park.
Yes.
So that was done last week, so that looks fantastic. Heat pumps. So on the satisfaction survey that we sent out, we had quite a few members wanting new heat pumps, and I can say that they are going to be ordered. So hopefully next week,
Say again.
the heat pumps and the membership satisfaction survey I sent out a wee while ago, a lot of people requested new heat pumps. So we're finally in a position that we can actually get them ordered. So we'll get two new heat pumps in here. So hopefully that'll be organised next week for those. We're also shortly, that wire fence that's along there, that's looking quite shabby. So Taikis, they've gone under new ownership. They're going to be replacing the signage on the side of our building. Where it says Taikis, they're going to change it to Lee's Workshop, or whatever they're going to do. So when they get the scaffolding, we've asked if we can borrow it, and then we'll cut, or Dave and whoever you've got helping is going to be
Thanks,
cutting the fence and making it look a lot tidier. So we haven't got any time frame for that at the moment. It's really dependent on when they get the scaffolding. So they've said we can borrow it, so we'll we'll use that as well. So the fence will get done hopefully shortly. We're also getting a new irrigation system put in just along on the front entrance on the wall. Dave, do you want to explain about the irrigation system?
What's gonna happen is we're gonna lift all the pipes and everything out of the ground. So if we have any problems with irrigation in future, we can just go straight to the source of the problem. And instead of going underground and bailing out the water and everything like that. So what's gonna happen is we can lift it up on the fence, and so if any problems, we can just diagnose it straight away. It's a bit dangerous under there with a wee bit of water floating in there that if it goes on fire and blows it all up, we get no water on the ground in the summer. So that's what's happening.
So from the satisfaction survey, we have taken on board everything that was commented to us, but some things will just take a bit of time. We don't have the money to do everything all at once, but we have been trying to do certain things. And obviously the heat pump, that's a huge expense. So we've tried to get that out of the way first, and then we can work on the cheaper things a bit later on.
Did you know that those heat pumps were originally donated to us?
Yeah.
They were supposed to last to 10 years, and I think they've lasted 30.
So
So they've done very well.
They've done very well.
They have thoroughly looked after us.
I think you could thank Di Jackson for that. It was very
Awesome. Thanks, Di. Okay, and so then the last thing I just wanted to have a chat about is that we are going to be having a new website. Somewhere about here. Oh, it was that one. Thank you. Okay, so we've been working on a website, and it's not far away, and so we're just
We're about halfway.
So it's we're just working through what's going to be on it at the moment, but we're hoping to get to the point where there are things like we're putting the history up. There'll be a place where you can go to a link directly to Bowls Dunedin. It's going to feed directly to our Facebook. So any sort of posts that go up on Facebook, it immediately displays on the website. There's a nice feed there. Photos from about the club. There'll be we're looking at whether we can get a sort of like a calendar of events and that sort of thing up there. So we just all the contacts. It's even got a map of the location. So we're just working through that. So what we're probably going to do is so maybe on a Friday night we might have a sort of like a go live party and just sort of display it so that way you can. We'll project it on the wall or something like that, and you can have a look at it and see what it does, and we'll finally have a website for the bowling club. And yeah,
And we'll have information about membership. There'll be a link on there so they can download the membership form. And it'll be really informative to anyone looking at playing bowls. It's got what we put on it is about laws and etiquette on there as well. How to get started. Playing bowls.
Exactly.
So we've gone right from grassroots.
I guess it doesn't really so much pertain to adults, but I think it's out of respect, it's always good to ask, is there anybody that does not wish to have their photograph
Yes.
on that?
That was one of the things we was going to do once we got the photos up.
Yes.
Including contact details.
Exactly. So, because in regards to, especially with the positions and the officers, we were going to put contact details on there, right down to the selectors and positions of office. Do people please contact us if you do not want your contact details on the website? We will still put your name in regards to the position that you hold at the club, and that's just the office. But if you don't want your contact detail there, please let us know.
But we will email everyone before we're ready to go live.
Exactly.
Are you okay with us using this information
Yeah.
or this photo?
It's Dave.
Tournament dates, you thought about dates for tournament?
Well, we don't have a tournament convener yet, so once that happens, we will
Time's
definitely.
getting shortly, or you need to be putting the dates in.
So, yep, definitely. So we'll look at that at our first committee meeting, which will be second.
13th of June.
Yeah.
You have to wait till I have the AGM second to find out when they're having their
Yeah.
championship days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have Sunday,
No.
basically will be.
Exactly.
We
And
had a
that's-
wee bit of trouble there last year, we won
Yeah.
two events, you know.
Yeah.
But
And that's in June, so or July actually, the AGM. So
Yeah.
July. So
We're definitely gonna get a picture book.
yes, there is a handbook.
Yeah, but
It's a wee bit different.
Yeah.
It's a pared down one here.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell pared down means, but
So I think they're just not going to have the drawers in it this year.
Yeah.
Because the drawers change so much.
Yeah.
They're not putting that in. But all the contact details, the likes of the centre events, I think that's all going to be in the booklet.
Yeah.
It's just the drawers that aren't.
Yeah.
But yes, there is going to be a fixture book.
You know, conditions of play, rules, that sort of thing. That'll be
Well,
in there.
club tournaments, right?
Yeah. That'll be the yeah. Stuart.
Yes, I'd just like to ask a question. One thing that's concerned me in the 10 years or so that I've been in the club
Mhm.
is the number of new members that have arrived and lasted only 1 or 2 seasons.
Mhm.
And I asked the question, does anybody on the is this talked about at executive level, and does somebody approach these players when they're first indicating that they might be changing clubs, or certainly when they put in a resignation? Because I'm sure if the right person talked to them,
Mhm.
we could persuade them to stay. So it's just far too many, and
Yeah.
we've lost some jolly good bowlers.
Right. Cool.
And with regards to that, it's commonly called an exit interview,
Yeah.
and you can also hopefully find out what the reason is that they're moving.
Certainly.
And that's the most important thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, definitely. Firstly, my first response in regards to that would be we need to know that they're thinking of leaving in the first place, and a lot of times it doesn't. Well, I'm not aware, but does it make it to a level or to the person that needs to be having the discussion? So sometimes there's discussions amongst a few people. Does it make it to the men's club captain or the women's club captain that the person is thinking of leaving, and then they can have a possible discussion that they, about why they're leaving, or is there anything that could be done, or that sort of thing. So it needs to, because some people, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to have that discussion. So we need to respect their privacy and everything on that matter. You're right in regards to an exit interview. That's really important to understand why people are leaving, because that way we can address any of the issues, or if there's something that we can do to address it. It may be something we can't because it may be personal to that person. But it does provide information to be able to help. So I agree, Stuart, we need to understand why someone is leaving. Is there a common thread going on? But to be able to understand that, we need to know. And I hope, if there is anyone, we can only encourage that if you do hear of someone who's, thinking of leaving, encourage them to talk to the club captain at the very start, at the very least. I'm open to have a chat. If you want to have a chat, it's about who they feel comfortable talking to, as well. So if we can find that out. So agree, Stuart. Yep. It's definitely something and that's why we're focusing on membership. It's not just about new members, it's also about our current members. We need to make sure you guys are happy as well. So I don't want to just focus on on what's out there to come in, but it's also about us here too. So, yeah, I agree, Stuart.
I think the exit interview, Ellen's a good idea.
Yeah.
If we offer that to anyone that does resign.
If people are comfortable doing it.
Certainly lost a good member already.
We've lost a few good members.
History.
Sorry to have so much to say.
Hey, that's what general's for.
Such a good person. I like, it's a real end of an era really, that Gary George is no longer involved with sleeping and club ties. And I'd just like the members to acknowledge that.
Yep.
He's done a marvellous job.
He has. Thank you very much. All right.
Nice to get back to the building bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably been quite a nice AGM for you.
No one's poking you in the back going, come on, Gary, you can do it another year, come on. All right, so
So our next social event is a sponsors lunch. So it's going to be held at the Concord. It's just a thank you for being a sponsor of ours for so many years. So it's going to be held on Sunday, the 12th of June at about 12 o'clock. So there is a sign-up sheet up on the bar, Lena. So if anyone does want to come along for lunch and help support the Concord, please, if you could just pop your names down on there so we can confirm numbers with them closer to the time. So the sponsors do a lot for us,
yeah,
and we want to keep them, and we want to show that we are appreciative of them being our sponsor. So if we can do that. The heat pumps are going through one of our sponsors. And then today, also after here, if you want to stick around for lunch, we thought we'd just go across to the night and day. They've been hit really, really hard with the patrons because of the road work. So we thought if we pop along there, just help support them as well. We've opened up the gate. The fence is open, so you can go straight across the road.
right. Next one, I'd just like to thank Dave. It's a bit for thanking Dave Hutton for the everything he does for on the green. As you're aware, this year Dave won the Bowles Dunedin Greenkeeper of the Year. So, congratulations. We all know already that we've got the best greenkeeper in Dunedin. Also, Dave, we've put his application forward for Dave to be nominated for Bowles New Zealand Greenkeeper of the Year, and the application has been accepted, and so we wait to hear to see how that gets on. So, yeah. So, Dave, just like to present you this and say thank you very much again for everything that you do.
Thanks, sir. I don't really want to say too much. I'd just like to thank everybody who comes along and plays bowls. It's been quite a good season this year, and I'd like to also thank Batesy. You know, he does a lot of work here. A lot of people don't see, and yeah. So thanks very much anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, so that's all the main things that we need to do. So I am going to, if there's nothing else, which yep, I'm aware of that one, Nancy. I'll do it after we've closed the meeting. If there's nothing else for general and nothing else that anyone would like to raise, I will declare the meeting closed at 11:40 a.m.
Well done, Sarah.
Nancy has something to say before everyone moves, please.
Well, Lee did put the thing out for the ladies for the 10th of July, the afternoon. And I'm looking forward to all the ladies who would like to come and have afternoon tea here with me for my birthday.
Yeah.
10th of July.
Thank you, everyone that attended via the live stream.
Yes,
I hope you were able to hear everything. All right, thanks, guys.
I've got something on at the top.
Bye, guys.
It was a secret.
I've got that in my